And it goes like this. Righty ho, coming up on my show now, we have a singer-songwriter hailing from Western Australia, Northwest Australia. He's known for his captivating performances in his local music scene. And welcome to my show. Time to introduce Tommy Gunn on a live video call, but also, of course, audio on the radio show as well. This goes out. Hi, Tommy. How are you today? How's life treating you?
Good, Danny. Very well. How about you?
Yeah, nice, great so far. And I mentioned Western Australia. What part are you situated in?
So in Western Australia, the capital city is called Perth. It's the
Right.
most, I believe it's the most isolated city in the world. And I live in a regional town called Port Hedland, which is a 16-hour drive from Perth. So I'm in a very isolated part of the world. There's no town around me for about 2 hours.
Wow. And
Yeah.
how was like the gigging scene? Do you get a chance to do many like shows, or do you have to travel far, for your music?
Um, yeah, look, there is a fair bit of travel involved, but there is a healthy music scene kind of in the area with country music is really big up there at the moment. And yeah, in peak season, which is in winter, um, which is the weather's really nice. There's lots of events and gigs to be played, so it's good fun.
That's good as long as you can do what you enjoy, and that's
Exactly.
helpful. You're promoting and plugging a new single. Can you tell me what it's called, please? And is it being well received at the moment?
Yeah, sure. My new single's called "Coming Along with You." I released it in November, just before Christmas, and yeah, so far it's been really great. It's a little bit different from the previous two singles I've released. It's this one's a bit more of a heartfelt, almost ballad, and it's kind of follows the story of falling for someone or growing with someone, and then have them move away or leave, and hoping for that to be reconnected someday in the future.
Sure, because I put in my notes. I listened to it and coming along with you. It's a gentle, soft rock number.
Yeah, that's right. It's more in the vein of bands like Stained or Three Doors Down, with a bit of yeah, kind of from personal experience, a song I wrote from personal experience, and one that kind of flowed together pretty quickly and lyrically, especially, and musically, which yeah, pretty happy with the end
Mm.
result.
And that's available, like say, on all good streaming platforms as well.
Yeah, yeah, on Spotify and YouTube Music, and yeah, all streaming
Yeah.
platforms.
And what's the feeling like when you have your songs on like on playlists as well on Spotify? Like say like a discovery playlist.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's always great. Been lucky enough to be able to, yeah, get on some cool playlists, which helps your growth and get your music out there to new ears, which is always good.
Yeah.
And yeah, it seems to get well received, which is nice.
Yeah, that's what you want, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And you mentioned like previous tracks as well. In my notes as well, I have to ask about Going Rogue as well. Do you find that a good crowd pleaser to play live, get people, you know, on their feet?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the first single I released back in February last year, and it's a pretty much balls to the wall rock song, which is kind of my bread and butter. So releasing that song first was kind of like, hey, this is my sound, and it's one to get the crowd going, yeah, get people moving around and
Yeah.
yeah, jumping
And,
around.
and of course, like your new single, we discussed that. So you would encourage a listener to check out your other material as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a bit of the three singles I have released so far all have a little bit of different vibe to them. So my musical influences, and then hopefully my listeners reach far and wide in terms of different kinds of people that listen to the music.
Mm.
Because yeah, I'm a big music fan in general, and yeah, like to translate that into my own original music.
Mm. Because you also released a track called Anywhere But Home, a bit of a more faster pace song. What's the story? What's the backstory behind that one?
Yeah, so Anywhere But Home was the second single I released, which was made more in a punk kind of vein. So bands like The Offspring or Pennywise, and that was kind of a song that I wrote in a bit of anger, or yeah, frustration of the perils of living at home, not so much with your family home or your family life, but more so in terms of maybe there's things happening at home politically or in your community which gets you kind of pissed off and you want to leave. So yeah, that's when I wrote that song, and
Mm.
I've got a bit of the travel bug, so I wanted to kind of get out from where I was, and yeah, wrote that song, and actually kind of went on did some traveling after releasing that song, which kind of all worked in. Um, was ironic that that all kind of happened.
And do you find music a good mechanism to release things off your chest, let off steam, so to speak? You know, how some people like to go to the gym. Well, if you just listen to music, you can get things.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think music for me does a lot, and that's one of them is release energy, whether it's bad or good. I'm a big heavy music fan, and releasing kind of negative energy in the sense of getting it out of your system, but also I think music can help enhance any good energy you have, which kind of maybe my first single, Going Rogue, kind of taps into getting ready to go for a night out and getting up and about and getting excited for that. So yeah, music can complement
Hmm.
for me whatever energy you kind of have.
100%. And do you like to release like single by single, or do you like to release EPs or albums after the singles?
Yeah, so um, being pretty early in my original music at the moment, I'm releasing single by single. But I do have a EP planned for this year, as well as a couple of other singles. I'm hoping at this stage to release my next single in April, and come possibly May, June, have my EP out. Will be a 4 or 5 song EP, and hopefully another single after that later this year as well.
Mm. And you mentioned just some the listener can hear to some of your inspirations come out in some of your music. What decades in music have been the most like awe-inspiring for you?
Definitely. So, probably the 80s and 90s. I'm a bit of a rock pig. I kind of grew up on bands like AC/DC and lots of Australian rock. And then I kind of grew heavier into Metallica, and even bands like, Slipknot, real heavy stuff.
Mm.
But as I said, I kind of pride myself on having a wide variety of influences musically. So I incorporate things like, yeah, uh, punk rock, bands like The
Mm.
Offspring. I love reggae music as well, which not that I've written any reggae songs yet, but that's something maybe for the future.
Mm.
And yeah, just kind of another one I like is I suppose you call it swamp rock, which is bands like the Dead South. So they're kind of like a dark country kind of feel to them. So yeah, I have a wide range of influences which I like to reflect in my
Yeah.
writing.
And what's your opinions on streaming platforms? They obviously have their disadvantages and advantages, but do you feel that as society you have to like move with the times now?
Absolutely, yeah. It is what it is, and I think the further you resist it, the more you put yourself at the back of the pack, and the more you accept it, the easier and it's going to be in the long run. And obviously, it's probably not ideal for a lot of musicians, but the majority of people are using streaming platforms these days, which even I use Spotify myself to listen to music, so it's kind of the nature of the music industry at the moment. And I think personally, my passion really lies in playing live and um, translating my music to a live audience,
Mm.
which yeah, I feed off that energy and feed it back to the
Yeah.
audience as well to make it a great show.
Yeah, it's interesting in having interviewed like previous guests how some musicians just like the recording studio environment, but a majority like to get out there on stage, and perform to the crowd. That's what it's about.
Absolutely, and yeah, at the end of the day, we are performers primarily, so yeah, getting out on stage and yeah, having that energy go around is yeah, pretty special.
Yeah, and where's best for people to follow you, like say on social media or website or newsletters as well?
Yep. Yeah, so I'm mostly active on Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram is Tommy Gunn underscore Oz AUS, and you can find me on Facebook
Yeah.
under Tommy Gunn as well. I try to put all my stuff on Spotify, YouTube, all those streaming platforms as well. And I also have a website which is tommygunmusic.com.au.
Tommy Gunn, thanks very much. You heard him here on my show, the Denison Radio Show here in UK and Europe. I just want to say thanks for coming on, hopping on today to chat about your music and just find out a little bit more about yourself as well. And shall we see if we can get on one of your songs on the show now for you?
Thanks,
Yeah,
Danny,
that's
for
great.
showing.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks very much for your contribution today, and we wish you a rest of the day. Have a good rest of the day.